What if I told you water can boil and freeze at the same time? Or that a banana is technically a berry, but a strawberry isn't? Sounds like nonsense, doesn't it? Today, we're diving deep into the world of science, where logic often gives way to pure amazement. We've gathered 20 scientific facts that, at first glance, seem like complete fiction. Get ready, because after this video, your perspective on everyday things might just completely change. The universe isn't obligated to conform to our common sense. Many things we take for granted actually work in ways we'd never expect, and science is the ultimate tool for peering behind the curtain of reality. So let's begin this incredible journey. Alright, prepare to have your common sense challenged. Imagine a luscious sweet banana. Now picture a fragrant strawberry dotted with all those tiny seeds. Which of these is a berry? If, like most people, you confidently answered strawberry, then you've got it backwards. From a strict botanical perspective, it's actually the complete opposite. A banana is, in fact, a true berry. And a strawberry? Not even close. To unravel this confusion, you need to understand that for scientists, a berry isn't just something small and sweet. It's a fruit that develops from the single ovary of one flower, boasts a fleshy pulp, and contains its seeds internally. Classic examples include grapes or even tomatoes. Now let's look at the banana. It perfectly fits this description. It grows from a single ovary flower. It has a skin, a juicy pulp, and seeds. Yes, those tiny black specks you see in the centre. Those are its underdeveloped seeds. So what's the deal with the strawberry? It's a botanical imposter. The luscious red part we enjoy eating is actually an enlarged receptacle, not the fruit itself. And the true fruits? Those are the small, dry little seeds on its surface. Each one of those contains a single seed. So, paradoxically enough, bananas, watermelons, and even cucumbers are technically berries, but strawberries, not at all. And that's your first botanical paradox. Leaving botanical paradoxes behind, let's launch ourselves into space, to our celestial next-door neighbour. On the planet Venus, the familiar concepts of day and year behave in a truly mind-bending way. Picture this: a single day on Venus lasts longer than an entire year. It sounds like a glitch in the cosmic calculations, but it's the verifiable truth. Let's break it down. A planet's year is defined by the time it takes to complete one full orbit around the Sun. For Venus, that's roughly 225 Earth days. A day, on the other hand, is the time it takes for a planet to rotate once on its own axis. And this is where things get truly peculiar. Venus spins agonizingly slowly. So slowly, in fact, that a single full rotation takes a staggering 243 Earth days. This means that while Venus is still experiencing its seemingly endless day, it has already completed an entire orbit around the Sun and has begun a new year. You could literally wake up on a Monday and go to bed in the next calendar year. And to add another layer of strangeness, Venus rotates in the opposite direction compared to most other planets in our solar system. A true rebel of the cosmos, indeed. We've been travelling through time, and now it's time to bring our focus back to our home planet, Earth. Here's a thought experiment for you. Which emerged first, sharks or trees? Your intuition probably tells you trees, right? They seem so fundamental, the very foundation of life on land. But once again, intuition plays tricks on us. Sharks are significantly older. These perfectly evolved ocean predators were already navigating the world's oceans long before the first true tree ever sprouted on land. To truly grasp the immense scale, let's look at the numbers. The oldest known shark fossils date back over 400 million years. Trees, as we recognise them today, with sturdy trunks and branches, didn't emerge until roughly 50 to 60 million years after that. Just try to picture that world. The land wasn't covered by vast forests, but by colossal ferns and mosses, and all the while, in the oceans, the ancestors of modern sharks were already apex predators, ruling the food chain. They've survived multiple mass extinctions, including the one that wiped out the dinosaurs. So, the next time you see a shark, remember this: You're looking at a living fossil, a creature whose lineage predates not just forests and mountains, but even the very rings of Saturn. But enough about sharks, let's talk about sound. Think about Indiana Jones movies, or old westerns, that sharp, loud crack of a whip. What do you think makes that sound? Is it the leather hitting the air? Or perhaps the whip's tip just snapping by itself? The reality is, it's far more fascinating and significantly louder than you might imagine. That sound, it's a miniature sonic boom. Yes, you heard that right. When someone properly cracks a whip, a loop of energy travels down its length. As the whip tapers towards its end, this energy loop accelerates, funneling all the power of the swing into one tiny spot. At the very tip, its velocity breaks the sound barrier, topping over 1,200 kilometers per hour. And the moment the whip's tip breaks the sound barrier, it creates a shockwave in the air. This shockwave is what we hear as that famous crack. So in essence, anyone who can wield a whip effectively is a miniature supersonic jet pilot, generating an actual sonic boom with their bare hands. Let's talk about scale for a moment. What do you think there's more of? Stars in our galaxy or trees on our planet? Our brains, conditioned by images of an infinite cosmos, immediately scream, "Stars, of course!" We look up at the night sky and see billions of sparkling points of light. It seems impossible to count them, and even more so, unimaginable that something on our small Earth could possibly outnumber them. Well, think again. As incredible as it sounds, there are far, far more trees on our planet. Let's look at the numbers. According to even the most generous astronomical estimates, our Milky Way galaxy contains roughly 400 billion stars. That's a staggering number. Now get this, latest data, based on satellite imagery and extensive counting, reveals there are approximately 3 trillion trees growing on Earth. A trillion, for reference, is 1,000 billion. That means there are 7 to 8 times more trees than stars. So, for every single star in our galaxy, there's almost an entire forest right here on Earth. Despite the vastness of the cosmos, our own planet is surprisingly vibrant and green. Let's now turn our attention to our own bodies. Each of us carries within us a powerful chemical laboratory, our stomach. The main reagent in this lab is gastric juice, or more precisely, hydrochloric acid. We usually think of it as something that simply helps digest our meals. But what's its true power? Its power is such that stomach acid can completely dissolve a metal razor blade. Yes, you heard that right. Steel. Dissolved. While it would take hours, not just 5 minutes, the very fact is astonishing. The acidity in our stomach is so high that on the pH scale, it registers between 1 and 2. That's comparable to battery acid. So, a logical question arises, why doesn't this aggressive liquid dissolve our own stomach? Nature has it all figured out. The walls of the stomach are lined with a thick layer of special mucus, which is constantly renewed. This mucus acts like an impenetrable shield, protecting the delicate tissues from self-destruction. So inside you, a real chemical reactor is bubbling away, capable of tackling metal. And please, whatever you do, do not try to test this at home. All right, let's take a brief detour from space and chemistry for a quick, interactive experiment. You can do this right where you are. No need to even stand up. Ready? Pinch your nose with your fingers. Go on, really tightly, so no air can pass through. Now, try to hum. Don't just say the letter M, but really try to make a long, drawn-out sound. Can't do it? You probably feel the air pressing somewhere inside, pressure building, but no sound comes out. This isn't a trick, nor is it unique to your anatomy. It's physically impossible to do. For anyone. The reason lies in the fundamentals of acoustics and anatomy. The M sound is what's called a nasal consonant. This means that to produce it, air, vibrating at your vocal cords, must exit specifically through your nose. Your mouth is typically fully or partially closed at this moment. By blocking your nose, you're cutting off the only pathway for that airflow. The air simply has nowhere to go, and the sound cannot be formed. It's a simple yet clear example of how our speech system is designed. Let's turn our attention once more to the world around us, to one of the most iconic man-made structures on the planet. We're talking, of course, about the Eiffel Tower in Paris. We all know it's a colossal metal structure, but what few people realise is that this magnificent iron lady constantly breathes, subtly changing its height with the weather. It might sound strange, but in summer, the Eiffel Tower actually grows taller, and we're not talking about a millimetre or two, but a full 15 centimetres. Where does this extra height come from, and how is this even possible? The answer lies in a simple physical phenomenon called thermal expansion. When metal heats up, its atoms begin to move more rapidly and spread out, occupying more space. As a result, the entire structure expands slightly in size. The Eiffel Tower is made up of thousands of tons of iron. On a hot summer day, the Parisian sun intensely heats its massive metal framework, and this amount of heat is enough to make the entire 300-metre structure elongate upwards by 15 centimetres. In winter, as the metal cools and contracts, the tower gently recedes to its usual stature. So, if you're keen to see the Eiffel Tower at its absolute tallest, plan your trip to Paris for July. Let's talk about bananas again, but this time from a genetic perspective. Prepare for a fact that might just sting our human ego a little. You, Homo sapiens, the pinnacle of creation, share a surprisingly large amount of genetic code with a humble banana. We're not talking about outward appearance, of course, but our very DNA. Scientists, having sequenced the human genome, along with those of countless other organisms, uncovered an incredible truth. Roughly 60% of our genes have direct counterparts in the banana genome. Yes, more than half of the genetic code that defines us as human is shared with the code that makes a banana. Well, a banana. How is this even possible? The simple explanation is that all life on Earth evolved from a common ancestor. Because of this, we've all retained fundamental genes responsible for basic cellular processes, things like respiration, cell division, and energy conversion. These essential processes are remarkably similar in both humans and banana plants. Of course, the remaining 40% of our genes are what make us so distinctly different. But the sheer fact that we're genetically related to that yellow fruit from the supermarket, it's genuinely mind-blowing. Let's leave Earth behind and journey to the outermost reaches of our solar system, to the ice giants, Uranus and Neptune. The weather there is, to put it mildly, extreme. We're talking hurricane-force winds and bone-chilling cold. But the most extraordinary precipitation falls deep within their atmospheres. There, it rains real, pure diamonds. This isn't science fiction. It's a well-supported theory, confirmed by laboratory experiments. The atmospheres of these planets are rich in methane, which is a compound of carbon and hydrogen. At immense depths, closer to the planet's core, the pressure becomes simply unimaginable, millions of times greater than on Earth, and temperatures can reach thousands of degrees. Under these extreme conditions, methane molecules literally tear apart. Freed, the carbon atoms begin to clump together. Under immense pressure, they compress and crystallize, forming solid diamonds. These diamonds, being heavier than the surrounding gaseous environment, slowly rain down into the planet's interior, much like raindrops or hailstones. Scientists theorize that over billions of years, these planets could have formed entire oceans of liquid carbon, with diamond icebergs, some as large as mountains, floating within them. Let's dive under the water and get a closer look at one of the ocean's most incredible creatures, the octopus. These cephalopods truly seem like creatures from another world, and their unique anatomy only reinforces that idea. Let's start with their heart, or should I say, hearts. If you thought one heart was the norm for all living beings, the octopus is here to surprise you. It has a remarkable 3. Why so many? Well, it's quite logical. 2 of these hearts, positioned on either side of its body, are dedicated to pumping blood through its gills, oxygenating it. The third, central, and most powerful heart then circulates this oxygen-rich blood throughout the rest of its body, feeding its organs and muscles. Interestingly, when an octopus swims, this central heart actually stops beating to conserve energy. This is likely why they tend to prefer crawling along the sea floor rather than swimming long distances. But wait, there's more. Their blood isn't red like ours, it's blue. Instead of iron-based hemoglobin, octopuses have hemocyanin, a copper-based protein, in their blood. It's this copper that gives their blood its distinctive bluish hue. So the next time you encounter an octopus, remember, you're looking at a true aristocrat with blue blood and 3 hearts. From the realm of living creatures, let's now transition to dead stars, or rather, to the incredible remnants they leave behind. Imagine the densest, heaviest material you can possibly conceive. Lead, perhaps? Or gold? All of that is mere fluff compared to the substance that makes up a neutron star. A neutron star is the ultra-dense core left after a massive star explodes as a supernova. It's incredibly small, roughly the size of a city, yet its mass can actually exceed that of our Sun. The densities found there reach levels that our minds simply struggle to comprehend. To help you truly grasp this, let's conduct a thought experiment. Take a regular teaspoon. Now imagine scooping up just a little bit of material from the surface of a neutron star. Then, let's bring that spoonful back to Earth and place it on a scale. How much do you think it would weigh? A kilogram? A ton? 1,000,000 tons? The answer is staggering. A single teaspoon of this material would weigh approximately 6 billion tons. That's more than the combined weight of every single person on Earth. All of human civilization, all 8 billion people, weigh less than that tiny teaspoon-sized portion of a neutron star. Now that's what we call true density. How about we challenge our perception of time and history? Imagine a scale. On one side, Queen Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt, a true icon of the ancient world. On the other, the original iPhone, a gadget that single-handedly redefined modern technology. Which of these two do you think is closer in time to the building of the Great Pyramids of Giza? Seems like a no-brainer, doesn't it? Cleopatra, Egypt, pharaohs, pyramids, they all belong to the same ancient era. And the iPhone? That's definitely our time. But when we look at the actual dates, prepare for a real surprise. The Great Pyramids were completed around 2560 BCE. Cleopatra, however, lived and reigned much, much later. She died in 30 BCE. Let's do the math. Over 2,500 years passed between the construction of the pyramids and Cleopatra's lifetime. Now let's calculate the distance to the iPhone. The first iPhone was introduced in 2007 CE. From Cleopatra's death to that moment, only 36 years elapsed. This means that Cleopatra, whom we so readily associate with the deep past, lived closer in time to the launch of the original iPhone than she did to the building of the Great Pyramids by her supposed ancestors. Our historical intuition is completely shattered. Let's take another look inside ourselves. Who are you? What are you made of? You'd probably say cells, organs, tissues, human DNA, and you'd be right, but only partly, because most of the living organisms that make up your body aren't exactly you. We're talking about trillions of microbes, bacteria, archaea, and fungi living on your skin and, predominantly, in your gut. Collectively, they're called the microbiome. And here's an astonishing fact. If you count all the cells in your body, you'll find that bacterial cells outnumber your own human cells by roughly 10 to 1. Just let that sink in. For every one of your native cells with its unique DNA, there are 10 bacterial tenants. By weight, these microbes make up about 1.5 to 2 kilograms, roughly the same amount as your brain. But their influence on our lives is profound. They help us digest food, synthesize vitamins, train our immune system, and even, as recent research indicates, influence our mood and behavior. So, you're not just a person. You are an entire walking ecosystem, a complex symbiosis of human and trillions of microscopic allies. Here's a fact that seems to defy all the laws of thermodynamics we learned in school. What freezes faster, a glass of hot water or a glass of cold water? The answer seems obvious. Cold water, right? It has less cooling to do to reach 0 degrees. Makes sense, doesn't it? Seems perfectly logical. But, as is often the case in science, what seems logical isn't always right. Under specific conditions, hot water can actually freeze significantly faster than cold water. This paradoxical phenomenon is known as the Mpemba effect, named after the Tanzanian schoolboy who first brought it to the attention of scientists. There's still no single, definitive explanation for this phenomenon, but several working hypotheses attempt to account for it. First, hot water evaporates more quickly, reducing its volume, and a smaller volume of water freezes faster. Second, hot water contains fewer dissolved gases, which can slightly inhibit the crystallization process. A third theory suggests that special convection currents form in hot water, speeding up heat transfer. It's possible that all these factors work in combination, but the fact remains, counterintuitive as it may be, boiling water can sometimes turn into ice faster than cool water. Let's take a break from the paradoxes of physics for a moment and turn our attention to something much simpler. Flowers. Specifically, the humble sunflower, a familiar sight since childhood. Bright, yellow, always turning its face toward the sun. What could be more straightforward or more uplifting? Yet these seemingly simple plants possess a hidden superpower that makes them true ecological heroes. Sunflowers are incredibly effective at cleaning soil contaminated with radioactive pollution. This process is known as phytoremediation. A sunflower's extensive root system functions like an incredibly efficient pump. The plant draws not only water and nutrients from the soil, but also dangerous heavy metals and radioactive elements such as cesium-137 and strontium-90. These harmful substances then accumulate in the plant's stems and leaves. Once the sunflowers have matured, they can be safely harvested and disposed of, effectively removing the radiation from the earth. This remarkable ability has been actively put to use in cleaning up areas after nuclear disasters, most notably in Chernobyl and Fukushima. There, vast fields of sunflowers were planted, diligently absorbing the invisible threat like tiny green soldiers. So, the cheerful and unassuming sunflower is much more than just a source of seeds and oil. It's a powerful natural instrument in the fight against some of the planet's most dangerous contaminants. Let's talk about the biggest thing there is, the universe. Where's its centre? Where did it all begin? We're used to imagining the Big Bang like a bomb exploding in empty space, a single point from which everything flies off in all directions. So, that point must be the centre, right? Well, think again. The universe has no centre. None at all. This fact is incredibly hard to wrap our heads around because it goes against everything we experience in daily life. To truly understand this, we need to imagine that space itself isn't just an empty container. Instead, it's something that can stretch and expand. Picture the surface of an inflating balloon. Draw a few dots on it, representing galaxies. As you inflate the balloon, its surface stretches, and all the dots move further and further away from each other. Now pick any one of those dots and observe the others from its perspective. It will seem like you're at the very centre, with all the other dots racing away from you. But an observer from any other dot would see the exact same thing. There's no central point on the balloon's surface. It's the same with our universe. The fabric of space-time itself is expanding, so no matter where you are, it will always appear as if you're at the centre, with all the galaxies speeding away from you. There's no centre anywhere, and yet, in a sense, it's everywhere. From the cosmic scale of the universe, let's zoom in on something a bit more relatable. Alcohol. If you pictured the ultimate cosmic pub, how much booze would it stock? The answer might surprise you because the universe's biggest bar isn't on Earth at all. It's actually located right at the heart of our galaxy, in the constellation Sagittarius. Astronomers have discovered a colossal interstellar cloud there, known as Sagittarius B2. And what's this cloud largely made of? You guessed it, ethyl alcohol. Yes, the very same alcohol found in your beer, wine, and spirits. Of course, it's not in liquid form up there. It's molecular gas, but the sheer quantity is absolutely mind-boggling. This colossal alcoholic cloud is 1,000 times wider than our entire solar system. Scientists estimate there's enough alcohol to fill roughly 1 trillion pints of beer. That's enough for every single person on Earth to drink 300,000 pints of beer every day for 1 billion years. Unfortunately, this cloud is a staggering 26,000 light years away, so a cosmic party isn't on the cards just yet. Let's talk about the most complex and mysterious structure in the entire universe, located right here between your ears, your brain. It's not just an organ for thought, it's a genuine biological powerhouse. As you watch this video, listen to my voice, or even just ponder your own thoughts, your brain is continuously generating electricity. Billions of neurons in your head communicate with each other through tiny electrical impulses. While the voltage of each individual impulse is minuscule, their combined power is quite impressive. In a waking state, your brain generates between 10 and 23 watts of electrical power. What does that mean in practical terms? That's enough power to light a small LED light bulb. Just imagine your very own thoughts, your consciousness. It's an electrical process capable of creating visible light. So, the next time someone tells you that you've got a brilliant idea, you can take it almost literally. You are a walking power plant powered by the sheer force of thought. And to cap off our list, we're heading to the biggest planet in our solar system, Jupiter. This gas giant is legendary for its colossal storms, but one truly stands out from the rest, the famous Great Red Spot. So, what exactly is it? It's not just a spot. It's a colossal anticyclonic hurricane, constantly raging in Jupiter's atmosphere. And when I say colossal, I'm not exaggerating. This storm is so immense that our entire planet Earth could easily fit inside it, not just once, but perhaps 2 or even 3 times over. But perhaps the most astonishing thing about it is its incredible longevity. We've been tracking this storm for over 350 years, ever since the first telescopes turned to the heavens, and it shows no signs of abating. Just imagine a hurricane, larger than our entire planet, that has raged for centuries. Wind speeds inside this colossal vortex can reach up to 400 kilometers per hour. It's the most powerful and longest-lived storm known to humankind, a truly eternal hurricane, a world-sized tempest. So what do all these astonishing facts truly mean? The insight about Cleopatra, the pyramids, and the iPhone isn't just a quirky historical tidbit. It fundamentally shatters our intuitive sense of time, revealing just how compressed history has become in recent centuries. The neutron star fact forces us to question the very concepts of matter and weight, and the realization that most of the cells in our own bodies are actually microbes completely upends our understanding of what it even means to be human. Science, then, isn't just a dry collection of facts or a list of boring rules. It's an endless journey into the strangest, most mind-boggling corners of reality. And perhaps the most incredible part? This reality exists whether we choose to believe in it or not. It simply is, in all its absurd, beautiful, and sometimes terrifying complexity. We've just explored 20 facts that truly defy common sense. I hope you found them as fascinating to learn about as we did putting them together. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you learned something new and your brain feels a little fried or blown away, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any more incredible discoveries. Which of these facts blew your mind the most? Or perhaps you know another scientific discovery that sounds completely made up? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts.